Thank you. Let me share my screen. I will show some code changes and what we did for UI shortcuts. And I hope it's visible. Now, first of all, let me start with a quick introduction. You know, we have document shortcuts like Control C, Control V for copying and pasting text, and for other things like commenting and the like. And we also have a UI here, notebook bar. So UI also could have shortcuts, UI shortcuts for primarily for accessibility features. And we wanted to implement something beautiful, which we did, I think, in the end. Like we see now, when a user presses key Alt, then they can see the yellow boxes with letters in it. Then they can, of course, navigate to the tabs or the buttons for using the features. How we did it, let me shortly describe it. Then this will be possibly a short TTT this time. Uh, Let me check the code. First, I want to make sure that I do not interfere with the document features, so I want to find a way to isolate the UI shortcuts from the document. So we are using a hidden input element. We initialize it, and and then we add it to the document, the HTML document. It catches the events when we press Alt key, and then this class is activated, and it does whatever we command it to.
Que cette classe est active.
Sorry, everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you, Gokay.
Okay. So this class is activated by that when that hidden input element is focused, then we can do whatever we need here without interfering with the document features and or something unexpected, doing something unexpected. We have document notebook accessibility file for this, and we first started notebook bar accessibility definitions file for having the definitions. When we checked the change log of this file, we can see that we had some things like insert. For an insert, we had the key, the shortcut key, and also other things. There was a long list. This list is doing the work for us. Like when we press here, we can also navigate with also the short arrow keys or arrow keys, or we can use the shortcuts here. This then we wanted to merge it with notebook bar accessibility definitions with control notebook bar writer definitions. So now we have a smaller list, and we can use combinations like German language or any other language. So every language has its can have its own shortcut for the notebook bar UI. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, Gokay. Questions? Michael?
Oh, no, it's great to see that, Gokay. How does this all hang? Presumably we use Alt elsewhere for lots of other things. I'm just curious as to how we demultiplex the other things, or is Alt only used for menus? Or this tool notebook bar?
There is Alt S, yes, but we first push with Alt without pressing anything else, so that activates this menu. But if we push them at the same time, then you can see that references tab is activated.
Mm-hmm. And another question I had was that we need accelerators to get us into, for example, the sidebar and to switch our focus into that. So if you turn the sidebar on, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and then you hold down Alt, it would be really nice if we could make sure that some of those buttons in the top right there, and also some way of switching focus into that whole sidebar pane as an idea, would be really, really, really helpful, I think, for accessibility. Because I don't know how you get to those at the moment. How would you get to those?
I'm using tab key, but yes, there may be there may not be an easy way to go to that button. Let me check that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you see what I mean about accessibility? Because I mean, as long as we provide a way for an impaired person to do something, we're pretty good from accessibility. But the ability to focus the notebook bar, the sidebar rather, brings a whole load of really important features and functionality for people much closer. And I just wondered if we considered having one shortcut that would take us into there that would be, you know, reasonably standard somehow. What people do about that. But anyway, good stuff. It's nice to see it working, Gokay.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me note that, and I will create an internal task for that one.
Thanks. And maybe it's something for the accessibility team, but they would probably appreciate your help. You know?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Attila, questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Claudia, questions?
Great to see you, Claude. Is it?
Claude?
You're muted if you're trying to speak, but lovely to see you here. Well, not see per se, but have you here.
Okay. Miklos, questions?
I would have one. So I guess for many of these shortcuts, these are exposing functionality which was also there with the old menu interface and also familiar from other Office suites. Do we do any, like, was there any research where you decided what shortcut to use for which notebook bar tab and for these buttons? Or is that more like semi-automated? So if you see a review and comment, then we try with the R for review and C for comment, and hopefully that's good enough. Or like what was, how did you decide what shortcut to use for which function?
Thank you. Indeed, we worked on that heavily because you know, we want to provide our users a similar experience when they switch apps, and you know, Collabora Online is getting more hits, so people want to switch from other Office suites, and we needed to check other Office suites shortcuts, because shortcuts, UI shortcuts and document shortcuts are widely used, especially if you use an application in your everyday life. Then shortcuts really help in that case. So we made a research and we carefully tried to pick a generally accepted shortcut list for our shortcuts, for the UI shortcuts. I hope we could do that to some degree at least. It wasn't random from the user's perspective.
Yeah,
Okay.
also got some feedback from different users from different countries that happen to be our customers. So we also took customers' feedback into account. So that was greatly appreciated.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Andras, questions? Behram? Kellen?
No, nothing for me, thank you.
Cosmin, questions? Okay, Darshan, Ezine, questions? Okay, Hussein, questions? Okay, Jaume, Joao, questions?
No questions, thanks.
Okay, Justin, questions? Okay, Pranam, questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, Raj, questions? Richard?
Nothing here, thanks.
Okay, Swain, questions?
Yeah. Hi. So I like the overlay. So you don't really need to learn what the shortcuts are. So that's awesome. You often bothers me when I use these applications. And then a question. So how do you? So your code walkthrough was a little bit too fast for me. I mean, LibreOffice is a standalone, so I guess you have the idea of configure the shortcuts and menus with internationalization. And do you use the same mechanism here for online?
No, it's extremely non-configurable, I would say at the moment. So yes, it's very much a one-size-fits-all.
So hard-coded, yeah.
Per language, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, anyway, you can actually add shortcuts by on a system level. I would assume by configuring them in the XCU files. If there's some shortcut you want for every user. But yes, in terms of user storage, we need to do some work to serialize that and read it through the WOPI, some WOPI extension. And then we should be able to do lots more interesting things. But that so far is not done. But hey, we are training people up in the core code to get good at doing exactly this sort of thing. So you never know what might land on your plate, Sven.
Awesome.
No problem. Is that right? I'm of course making stuff up, quite probably, but I think that's where we're at.
Yes, that's right.
Hmm.
But of course, we can make it configurable in the future. I think, as you said, we will have it hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Sven, for the questions. And I see also Maven joined. I don't know if he managed to listen the presentation or not, but questions about shortcuts, Maven? Okay, Hussein would like to speak, please.
Yes, so it was a bit vague for me, but now I think I can ask this question. So for the shortcuts, what I see in LibreOffice, specifically in other applications, is the use of some special keys. And I couldn't understand what sort of special keys are usable. And a problem that I see in LibreOffice is that some specific shortcuts or key bindings, things like that, that works in operating systems has some sort of conflict with what LibreOffice uses, and this causes issues. So then again, what keys can be used, and how do you manage possible conflicts? Yeah, modifier case.
Thank you. Now, shortcuts. When I press Alt here in my keyboard, the hidden input element takes the focus, and now I don't need to press any special key here. I just press H, and the new home menu buttons are now shown. I can pick anything here, like AL, AC, VC here. They none of them requires special keys, so there can be, I think, no conflicts here. When I press Alt again without pressing anything else, it closes if I don't want to use. Also, I can navigate with arrow keys up and down, or I can navigate with like keys. So I expect no conflicts, but in some browsers like Firefox, it may require to press Alt and Shift together to see to show these shortcut helpers, because it also opens focuses on browser thing here. It may require.
So I don't know if it's more of a sort of core question as well about sort of like how key modifiers work there and so on. But I have this very bad memory that there are all of these mod 1, mod 2, mod 3 things that aren't terribly helpful, and it's hard to mentally map to Control Alt, right Alt, left Control, whatever Mac thing they are, and so it gets very hard to read the configuration with all of this sort of oddness going on there. But I think we're using the browser stuff here more cleanly, and as I say, hard coding it there for these things. So perhaps there's less of an issue. Ooh, we have an exciting fellow Jitster. It's good to see you. Welcome. I don't know who your name is, but you're welcome to ask questions. I think you've missed most of the talk, unfortunately, but we're just chatting about similar topics, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but so just to be specific, I'm concerned about Alt Shift. When you press both Alt and Shift, this is a widely accepted key combination to change keyword language on many platforms, and also pressing right Control and left and right Shift, and also for RTL LTR. So if that works, it's something great. But if not, yeah, at least for me, it causes issues on how I write text in different languages and different directions.
I see. Now we have two different type of shortcuts. One is for UI shortcuts for our notebook bar and our UI elements, and one is the one you are talking about is, I think, document shortcuts. When we are focused on the document, then writing or doing some modification, you can use Control, Shift, or Alt keys. Yes, they may conflict with the browser or operating system. It's I think we encountered that, but that's another thing we need to check, report, work on it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pedro, do you want to talk or still?
Yeah, I just think out loud that there was, since we were talking about the sidebar, yeah, I wonder if it would make sense to have a skip to main content and then skip to sidebar accessibility menu, which is
Yes.
very, yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and often there are things like you press F11 or something, or Alt Control F11, it does an accessibility switch. But in the browser, I suspect most of those things are swallowed.
Yeah.
And so getting, you reusing this with a nice pop-up so you can, see what's going on might be helpful there.
Yeah.
And documenting it carefully.
Yeah.
Sounds
okay.
good.
So that's it. Thanks, Gokay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I hope I didn't miss
I think fellow Jitster, that's who a new chap has turned up. Most welcome with their video on. I suppose you can wave. And good to see you. Just wondered if you have some questions. You're muted at the moment, so and you're being recorded. You should probably know that. So I don't know. Most of us have our video off to save bandwidth for other people, but yeah. Any thoughts there? Anyone else with any questions? I think Mevin, you showed up later, didn't you? I don't know if you got pulled or.
Well, rather personal bug of mine, personal issue of mine. This keyboard with a key that has a shortcut implemented in it. I think it's merge insert or control insert to do a copy. and right now it's not wired up. Is there would it make sense to add it? I think it's the very conventional alternative shortcut for copy. There is also one for paste. That's really the copy one that's triggering me.
Haha, Miklos, as new owner of copy and paste, like a random key that doesn't give the security context you need for the thing. But anyway, maybe.
See, nowadays, I think it should be more doable compared to the old setup we have, because in the old world you needed that explicit security context of the copy command that's executed, and nowadays, as long as something interactive is ongoing and the copy permission is granted, then you should be able to do that. And in general, copy is the less problematic part. Browsers are less concerned about putting junk on the system clipboard other than reading from the clipboard and spying on you. So in theory, I guess this is now more possible.
All right. Might wipe my patch to scratch my own itch.
Okay, any other questions?
Sounds like a no.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.